State Senator Chris McDaniel backs out of challenging Roger Wicker for his U.S. Senate seat, but he isn't going too far on the ballot. Plus, a judge decides if a South Mississippi doctor stays in jail for fraud. WDAM 7 Sunrise at 5 starts right now.
This is WDAM 7 Sunrise.
Good morning, Pine Belt. Today is Thursday, March 15th. I'm Blair Lede. Thank you for joining us. Let's check in with Rex now, who is looking in at your chilly forecast as we get our day started. Good morning, Rex.
Good morning, Blair. It is chilly outside now. It's chilly inside the studio, and it is chilly outside the studio. Remember the cold spot. Look at that. We got 28 degrees in Collins, 29 in Laurel. Good grief, that's way below freezing. Just about everybody's below freezing when you look at the map. Everybody's at 32 or below, except for Poplarville. You're coming in at 35, but you're still at frosted levels. Anyway, it's going to be a warmer day, though. I think eventually getting into the lower 70s, the sky is sunny. Now, the forecast is going to change for the weekend. Now, we have enjoy this dry weather today and what we've had for the past couple of days because it's going to warm up and rain chances are on the increase. Forecast coming up.
Thank you, Rex. Well, State Senator Chris McDaniel makes a big campaign announcement. He's switching U.S. Senate races. He'll withdraw from the Roger Wicker challenge and run for Thad Cochran's soon-to-be open seat. Courtney and Jackson has the latest reactions in this morning's top stories.
Chris McDaniel never closed the door on his option of entering the race for Thad Cochran's open seat.
But in politics, you always keep your options open, certainly.
Now he's taking that option and entering the other race. The special election is nonpartisan, so Republicans, Democrats, and independents will all be on the ballot together. Democrat Mike Espy is the only other candidate who has so far said he'll run. McDaniel said this in a statement: by announcing early, we are asking Mississippi Republicans to unite around my candidacy and avoid another contentious contest among GOP members that would only improve the Democrats' chances of winning the open seat. If we unite the party now and consolidate our resources, we can guarantee Donald Trump will have a fighter who will stand with him. Even ahead of McDaniel's announcement, one supporter echoed those sentiments.
It'd be better for the Republican Party to not have a full-blown campaign against Wicker.
Chris McDaniel supporters gathered at the state capitol calling on the governor to make McDaniel his appointment to Cochran's seat ahead of the special election. But Bryant sent a statement after McDaniel's announcement that he's switching races, saying this opportunistic behavior is a sad commentary for a young man who once had great potential. Roger Wicker's statement said in part, until Senator McDaniel removes his name from the ballot for this race, we have no choice but to continue our campaign as planned.
Well, reporter Dave Elliott talked to McDaniel on the phone and asked him if this isn't a risky move.
Now, I believe politically and strategically this is an easier path for you, but do you think you're taking a bit of a chance because you have no idea, at least you knew who Roger Wicker is, you have no idea who the governor is going to appoint in the Thad Cochran race?
Well, what we do know is going to be a hand-selected Mitch McConnell candidate. We know that Mitch McConnell is not going to allow an appointment to take place until he vets the candidate and until he finds someone that's going to be a yes man for him. And that's something that can't take place. Mitch McConnell is a big part of the problem. He's fighting against Trump. He's fighting against conservatives. We need to make sure that whoever the appointment is, we recognize that was McConnell's appointment, and that's who we're fighting against no matter who it is.
All right, McDaniel says he won't change his approach to the campaign. It'll be all about draining the swamp in Washington, D.C. For more political news around the Pine Belt and the nation, check our website, WDAM.com. 2 people are dead and another person in the hospital after a shooting at an Alabama hospital. Birmingham police say a man walked into the University of Alabama at Birmingham Hospital yesterday and started shooting. Authorities say he shot 2 people before turning the gun on himself. 1 hospital worker was killed and another wounded. In Gulfport, bond is denied for a Coast physician convicted on several fraud charges. A judge handed down that order Tuesday night to Albert Diaz. Court documents say the judge says Diaz did not prove he would not be a flight risk. Diaz's attorneys plan to appeal the ruling and file a motion for a new trial by the end of this week. 1 man is behind bars accused of robbing a man at gunpoint in Heidelberg. Authorities arrested Trevor Jones and Jaquil Jones, who both posted $10,000 bonds. Sean Moore turned himself in yesterday. All 3 are charged with armed robbery. The victim says they took him home after they robbed him, and that's when he called to report the crime. A judge handed down a 50-year sentence to a Moss Point man who severely abused his young son. Nathan McCrory appeared before a judge and pleaded guilty to 2 counts of felony child abuse. He was indicted back in 2016 for torturing his then 3-year-old son, Xander. The boy suffered burns, a collapsed lung, and liver perforation. In court, the judge made McCrory look at pictures of his injured son. McCrory will serve 25 years. An inmate serving 82 years for 3 cocaine convictions dies after collapsing in his housing area at South Mississippi Correctional Institution in Greene County. 39-year-old Terry Dora was pronounced dead at Greene County Hospital in Leakesville Tuesday night. Dora was in prison for cocaine convictions in Lowndes and Winston counties. The cause and manner of death are pending an autopsy and investigation. The day after forestry workers found human skeletons in a wooded area in Bolton in Hinds County, investigators swept that scene for forensic evidence. The Hinds County Sheriff's Department is the lead agency. An anthropologist and crime scene investigator spent hours looking through pine straw and brush for anything to provide them with a clue. Workers found those remains Tuesday. Dr. Stephen Symes, the state's new forensic anthropologist, says the bones are the key to solving the mystery.
In this case, there's a suspicion we may have somebody found in a deserted area. We'll try to retrieve all the evidence. We'll take it back and analyze it and try to narrow down who the possibility of who it could be.
Well, United Airlines is in the doghouse again after flying a family's dog to Japan instead of Missouri. Kara Swindle went to pick up her dog from the airport after flying from Portland, Oregon to Kansas City, Missouri with her children. She booked her 10-year-old German Shepherd Ergo on a separate flight when they told her he couldn't fly on her plane. Well, when she went to get Ergo, they gave her a Great Dane puppy with her German Shepherd nowhere to be found. Well, the airlines mixed the dogs up and Ergo was headed to Japan. This comes after United admitted to killing a dog forced to travel in an overhead bin. Volunteers from all the way from Ontario are in Petal this week to work with the nonprofit R3SM. A dozen Canadians helped rebuild a house damaged by the 2017 January tornado. They spent most of the week sanding the walls and getting them ready to paint.
We come mostly for the weather, right? But we do come, we're through a church organization, and we're trying to be the hands and feet of Christ, truthfully. And that's what we're trying to bring to kids, that they see that and that that becomes part of their lifestyle. So I would say that would be important to us. Yeah.
He says the group heads south every year to help with disaster relief. This makes their 3rd trip to the Pine Belt.
WDAM 7 First Alert Weather.
All right, it's now 5:08. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of this cold weather. I'm ready for some warmer weather, and it's on its way, too. Matter of fact, we're going to get in the lower 70s today. Temperatures right now, you step outside, it is cold. We're looking at temperatures in the upper 20s to lower 30s, so everybody's got a frost or a freeze going on this morning. Here's our future cast, and we won't see many clouds today, but I think we'll get into the lower 70s in most locations. Now, we might see an increase in clouds overnight. We're going partly cloudy, and this model wants to bring in some rain in the morning about 7 o'clock in the area. We may get a couple of showers in the morning, and we're not going to go too very low as far as temperatures, only in the mid to upper 40s. Now, the rain band passes through, and we'll be in the upper 60s to right around 70 tomorrow, thanks to the expected cloud cover. And the rain probably will come back on Friday night into Saturday, the way it's looking at this point. Right now, it is dry. It is cold outside, and we'll take a look at the radar. Now, first of all, the severe weather risk for tomorrow is practically non-existent, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Okay, now we'll take a look at the 7-day forecast. Yep, look at that. Showers and thunderstorms likely on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Highs in the 70s, lows in the 60s. And even about a high of 81 on Monday. Boy, that's going to feel good. And that cools down a little bit by Wednesday with highs back into the upper 60s.
Thank you, Rex. Well, it's the end of the road for Toys R Us. The toy retailer's recent announcement impacts thousands of employees as it struggled financially. First, here is a live look at your traffic around the Pine Belt. This is Highway 49 right next to the Convention Center in Hattiesburg. No traffic there, so no problems to report to you. Just one car going by. That is courtesy of your MDOT traffic cam. WDAM 7 Sunrise continues after this. It is 5:09. Welcome back to Sunrise 513 right now. In your medical news, the CDC releases a comprehensive look at the overall health of Americans. The new report spans 15 topics from insurance coverage to HIV testing to diabetes and asthma rates. The report found an estimated 31% of adults are now obese, up from 19% just 2 decades ago. Heavy drinking is more likely among white adults than any other racial or ethnic group. Another CDC study finds many teens don't consider themselves to be tobacco users, even if they are. 3 out of 5 teens who used e-cigarettes and 4 out of 5 who used roll-your-own cigarettes did not identify as tobacco users. Most teens who used only e-cigarettes or hookah thought those products were not harmful. Safe Kids Worldwide reminds parents to keep medications away from young kids. Every 9 minutes, a child under 6 goes to the ER after accidentally getting into medicine. Every 12 days, a child dies. Remember, child-resistant packaging does not mean child-proof. About half of accidental poisonings involve kids getting into child-resistant packaging. New research finds exercise can vastly reduce the risk of memory loss later in life. The new study from Sweden followed nearly 200 women for nearly 5 decades. Those who were very physically fit during middle age were nearly 90% less likely to develop dementia. Even if they did ultimately suffer from dementia, the exercisers developed memory problems a decade later than their more sedentary peers at age 90 rather than 79. It's more evidence that shows what's good for your heart is also good for your brain. Doctors in Ireland made a wild discovery when they looked at the brain scans of a man who'd been losing his balance. Turns out he was losing his mind. Well, part of it anyway. Check out these CT scans. You can see a 3.5-inch pocket of air inside his skull. The elderly patient suffered several falls and reported weakness on one side of his body. Well, doctors did a brain scan and were amazed. The man had a small tumor eroding the base of his skull, allowing air in that couldn't escape. Because of the patient's age, he declined surgery. He went on medication to help prevent further problems. The parents of Sophia Myers say they are pleased with a new bill that would create a rare disease advisory council. Senate Bill 2463 calls for the University of Mississippi Medical Center and several other agencies to team up in compiling information on rare diseases in our state, such as occurrences and treatments. They would then take the information, create a report, and present it to medical professionals and government agencies. Angel Meyer says the new legislation would help create public awareness and could help raise money for research.
To know things like that, to make them care more about things like that, that maybe they can put their money and their investments when they get an opportunity to give back and into things like DIPG research, or what Willow has, or the ATRT that Ariana has.
Josh and Angel Myers' daughter, Sophia, died from a rare brain cancer called DIPG. 2 other Ocean Springs children died from that disease as well. Senate Bill 2463 now sits on the governor's desk for his signature.
WDAM 7 First Alert Weather.
Good morning, everybody. 517. Yep, it's cold outside. Temperatures in the 20s and the 30s. But it's going to warm up today to be in the lower 70s under beautiful blue skies. Enjoy this now while you can, because it looks like rain is going to move in for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here's your commute forecast. This morning. Starting off very cold in the lower 30s. Around 40 by 8 o'clock, you get a green light. And this afternoon, I think we'll be in the lower 70s. Finally getting into the 60s by 5 and 6, but you do get a green light. Let's take a look at our futurecast again. It shows nothing happening during the day, but a warming trend. Temperatures mainly in the lower 70s. Now, the model was picking up an area of rain come in about 7 o'clock in the morning from the west, so we'll monitor that and see. Temperatures overnight not nearly as cold as we are seeing this morning, mainly in the mid to upper 40s overnight. That little batch moves through, we may get a little break, and then maybe more coming in on Friday night. And we see temperatures hanging out in the upper 60s to right around 70 during the day on Friday. Now, this is the way it looks on your 7-day forecast. Well, we got showers and thunderstorms likely, especially on Friday morning, maybe, and then Friday night. About a 60% chance on Saturday, then up to a 70% chance on Sunday again. But look at the highs. We'll be in the upper 70s on Saturday and Sunday. 81 degrees on Monday with a 30% chance of shower mainly in the morning. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, we're sunny again.
Thank you, Rex. Now to our consumer news. A company that helped define childhood memories for decades will soon be no more. Toys R Us is shutting down and selling hundreds of its stores. John Lawrence reports on what caused this.
Jeffrey, I want something new to love.
There's so much to love at Toys R Us.
It's the end of an era.
It's the biggest toy store there is. Gee whiz!
Toys R Us, the iconic retailer, will shut down or sell all of its nearly 800 stores in the United States, which means there will not be a new generation of Toys R Us kids.
I want to grow up fun, Toys R Us kid. They got a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with.
The announcement comes 6 months after Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy and 2 months after announcing plans to close nearly 200 stores.
There are a lot of concerns about retailers that are facing intense competition from, of course, Amazon and also Walmart, and it's just a very difficult time for some of these specialty retailers.
The collapse of Toys R Us will likely have a ripple effect.
This is bad news for Hasbro and Mattel. The two big toy makers get about 10% of their revenues from Toys R Us.
In addition to that, about 33,000 American jobs are at risk. Toys R Us hasn't earned a full-year profit in 6 years and has lost $2.5 billion since then. Analysts believe Toys R Us also didn't have strong sales during the 2017 holiday season. For WDAM 7 News, I'm John Lawrence.
Toys R Us announced all of its stores in the United Kingdom would also close. Ford recalls 1.4 million cars due to a manufacturing problem. The company says a bolt could come loose on the steering wheel and in some cases cause it to detach while driving. The affected models are Ford Fusions and Lincoln MKZs from 2014 to 2018. Ford says 2 accidents due to that malfunction are reported. Walmart, America's largest seller of groceries, plans to deliver supermarket items to 40% of the nation's homes by the end of the year. Right now, the deliver option is only available in 6 markets, with expansion to 100 by the end of 2018. Walmart's delivery service is $9.95 per order with a $30 minimum purchase. Green beer and those Kiss Me Irish shirts are going to really add up this St. Patrick's Day. A national survey expects Americans to spend more money celebrating the Irish this year than any other year in the survey's 12-year history. Mary Maloney shows us where the money goes in today's Consumer Watch.
The luck of the Irish is going to generate some green. This year, the National Retail Federation says Americans plan to spend in total $5.9 billion on St. Patrick's Day festivities. That comes out to about $40 per person. Most of that money goes to buy food and drinks like green beer or a traditional pint of Guinness. But people are also getting their green gear in the form of clothes, candy, and decorations. Of those celebrating, 83% of people plan to wear green. After all, they don't want to get pinched. 31% say they will make a special dinner, perhaps mimicking a good old Irish meal. And 27% will go to a bar or restaurant to celebrate St. Paddy's Day in style. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
All right, it is cold. I was thinking of celebrations going on there for St. Paddy's Day. You may have to go inside a bar on St. Paddy's Day or somewhere because it's probably going to rain.
WDAM 7 First Alert Weather.
Good morning, everybody. On this Thursday, hey, we call that Friday Eve around here. Yep, tomorrow is Friday. And kind of be a crazy weekend, too. We got, St. Patrick's Day coming up on Saturday. All right, it is cold this morning. We're looking at temperatures in the upper 20s to lower 30s. It is downright frosty and freezy out there this morning. But we're going to warm up today. And if you're tired of all this cold weather, it's actually going to feel very nice this afternoon. I think we'll be in the lower 70s. And we're not going to be seeing any 20s and 30s for quite some time to come, the way it looks. And we're going to break it down like this: around 32 degrees at 7 o'clock, around 52 at 10, around 67 degrees at 1, 72 degrees at 4 o'clock, and around 61 degrees by 7 p.m. Nothing on the radar to show you this morning, but that will probably change. Matter of fact, kind of expand this thing out here. And you can see clouds out across Texas and coming in from Mexico. That's moisture. And that means it's coming our way. And we likely could wake up to some rain in the morning. Yeah, a little rain Now beginning to show up in extreme western Texas. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. We'll break her down like this. All right, I think it will see around 73 today. And not as cold tonight, only in the upper 40s. Now tomorrow, we get that 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms. I think that will come in 2 batches, maybe morning, then afternoon, or late evening, one or the other. That should keep us right around 69, 70. Then St. Patrick's Day, unfortunately, well, who cares? Probably on St. Patrick's Day, you'll be having fun doing all kinds of things anyway. Indoors, likely. Well, it'll be around 78 degrees with a good chance for showers and thunderstorms. And then on Sunday, day to recover, I'm sure. About a 70% chance for showers and thunderstorms, high near 77. Then it turns dry again for Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll take a break, be back at 5:30.